People of Zamfara State cried out over neglect from President Muhammadu Buhari. Chief of Army Staff meets General Officers Commanders and Field Commanders vows to deal with subversive elements. National Economic Council urges Kakavi to explain statutes of donation to state on business. Okonjo-Iweala emerges first female Director General of World Trade Organization. And on the international scene, Chief of Army Staff has dismissed calls on the international communities to impose travel ban on top military officers. Welcome to Svtv News. I am Musa Joy Onyoza. The people of Zamfara State have on Monday cried out over what they described as total neglect from the government of President Muhammadu Buhari. In a town hall meeting with the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk, various stakeholders expressed concern and anger at the way and manner in which the President treated and handled issues relating to Zamfara State. Some of them who spoke at the occasion said despite their effort to ensure President Muhammadu Buhari ascended to the presidency during the first and second presidential elections, the president refused to physically visit various communities attacked by bandits or even send delegates to do so on his behalf, so as done to such other communities in some parts of the country. Our reporter Peter Phillips covered the event and filed this report.
The stakeholders, including civil society organizations, community and religious leaders, urged President Muhammadu Buhari to turn his face on the people of this state, particularly over the security challenges bedeviling various parts of the state. They said, unlike its counterpart in the country, the president had never for once visited any of the attacked communities to sympathize with them over the killings, kidnappings and cattle rustlings befalling the state.
Every government, being it Christian or Muslim, there is always right to protect the citizens, the poor masses from hardship, protection of lives and properties, and provide security. Honorable Minister, please enlighten the President of these issues we are facing daily, and as stated by the Governor of Zamfara State, the issues we are facing regarding security in our state has gone to a critical extent. As you can see now, women, men, children are being kidnapped and hiding inside bushes, and we do not know their numbers. The ulamas are always on this matter and plead to the President to please bring more security personnel who will work efficiently, because the poor masses, as known by the leaders, are always on the run for their lives with so much hardship and come back, or not as such. We call on the government to proper equipping of the security personnel to defend the masses.
In his contribution to the debate, the Secretary to the State Government Alhaji Bala Bello Maru, who represented the Governor of the state Bello Mohammed Matawale Maradun at the occasion, appealed to the President to release the 10 billion naira promised the state by the federal government as part of its assistance on COVID-19 pandemic.
There is a 10 billion naira intervention fund which the federal government has promised to give to the Zamfara state, and we have submitted a proposal long ago before the COVID unfortunate pandemic, and up to now we have not received any response from the federal government. His Excellency appreciates the initiative of His Excellency Mr. President for directing all members of the Federal Executive Council to go to their states of origin in order to collaborate with their various state governments of those states in order to hold a town hall meeting which actually is as a result of the unfortunate incidents of NSAS protests across the various states in the country. Various groups, about 20 or more, have been listed to speak. His Excellency urges you all to present your suggestions, your ideas on behalf of your various associations in the most matured, peaceful manner.
Other contributors include the chairman of the Miyeti Allah Association and Yan Sakai Vigilante Group and Federation of Muslims Women's Association of Nigeria.
The Miyeti Allah Association of Zamfara State is expressing grave concern over the incessant security challenges facing the state. We are facing a serious security challenge in this area. I therefore call on the federal government to intervene by constructing rural settlement for the Fulanis, just like what the Zamfara state government has done for us.
My name is Sani Namudi, chairman to Ensakai. We would like you to convey our message to the president that he should invite us to speak to the president directly and plead on behalf of our people, as we know and we are involved, to bring peace between the government and the headsmen since the administration of former Governor Abdulaziz Diari Abubakar. And now we have been called upon to negotiate further as the issue persisted. The NSAK group provided 9,886 guns, which will be used to provide security for our people, just to create peace, but still, the Fulani headsmen have not stopped.
Women are really in need of help. Their husbands have been killed and they have been neglected. Our youth are jobless. The 5,000 naira stipend is not enough for them. Businesses should be created for them so they can stand on their own. There is a popular saying which states that it is better to teach someone how to fish than to give them fish. If youth are helped to get work and something doing, these issues of insecurity will be highly reduced.
Earlier, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk, said the town hall meeting was organized to give the people of the state the rare opportunity to speak out their minds over the way and manner they are being governed, as instructed by the President, Muhammadu Buhari.
As you are all aware of the recent happenings, very disturbing happenings in our country, whereby very genuine concerns were turned into a very unfortunate situation on wanton killings of our people and also vandalization of both private and public assets nationwide.
Some of the stakeholders that attended the town hall meeting were the Emir of Anka, media executives, politicians, businessmen, other community residents in the state, Khan representatives, among others. It would be recalled that President Muhammadu Buhari directed all ministers and other key government officials of his administration to go back to their respective state to speak to the people with a view to calming them down over the current tension rising in various parts of the country and the ongoing looting and vandalization of palliatives and other public facilities in some of the federation. Nigeria has over the recent weeks undergone protests and led to the killings and vandalization of public property. I am Peter Phillips reporting for Svtv.
In a related development, Muslim community leaders in northern Nigeria have expressed concern over the recent happening in the country. Some of those who spoke at various occasions said there was the need for all and sundry to come together to pray for the nation. Expressing his worry and anger over the happenings in the country, Sheikh Nura Khalid said leaders were not sympathetic to the lead.
who say you cannot invoke Allah's wrath on those who cheat other people. We do it so often. I therefore pray that Almighty Allah will not allow them to enjoy these palliatives they hoarded after refusing to give them to the people who need them. Amen.
Also speaking while preaching to his followers, Sheikh Ibrahim Daurawa said leaders were being misled by those close to them.
Wannan ƙasa ta mu Najeriya Allah ka zauna da ita lafiya. Allah muna cikin wani muyacin hali ba wanda zai fidda mu sai kai. Allah ka fidda mu.
May Allah bring peace to our country Nigeria. We are really in difficult times and only Allah can bring us out of these times. May our leaders have compassion on us as well as good advisors. Because without good advisors, a leader is deaf, dumb and blind. He will not be allowed to see or hear anything. And when you are presenting a speech, everybody will look upon you as a liar because you are saying something that contradicts what they experience every day.
Kake jawabi kana ƙarya mutanen ƙasa kuma sun san ba haka bane saboda wanda suka rubuta maka shirme suka rubuta ma.
The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk, says she has forgiven those who accused her of hiding COVID-19 palliative meant for the poor. She stated this while fielding questions from journalists on Monday in Gusau, Zamfara State. The minister noted that many people have made various spurious allegations and accusations against her person and her ministry over the way they distributed federal government palliatives to cushion the effect of COVID-19.
Kayan abinci ne aka ba 'yan Najeriya da suke bukata.
These foodstuffs were meant for the people of Nigeria. People complained that we did not distribute the food items, but we did our part in handing them over to the state governors because they are the ones who know their people well enough. We really did our part and Allah knows this.
Allah kuma ya sani.
She maintained that she has always been carrying out her duties and responsibilities to the best of her ability and with fairness to all parts of the country. She said now that they have realized their mistakes, she is only praying to God to forgive us all. The minister had earlier paid homage to the Emir of Gusau, Alhaji Ibrahim Bello, where the monarch appealed to the federal government to take a second look at the security situation in the state. The federal government should support the state in opening more access roads to expose the hideout of criminal elements and give security operatives easier access to counter all terrorists. The Zamfara State Police Command has thrown more light on the suspected bandit attack in Lingiado village of Maruluku government area. In a press release by the command spokesman SP Mohammed Shehu, explained that contrary to some media report, it was 4 people and the district head that were abducted and not 53 people, as reported by some media organization. SP Mohammed Shehu explained that the command had organized a joint police and military unit stationed at Bindin to avert and respond to any diversion in those areas. The PPRO saw the police search and rescue team in collaboration with the military are in the nearby forest of the surrounding area to rescue the district head and the 4 other kidnapped victims along with him. It is on this premise that the command is calling on the good people of the state to report any threat of any kind to the security agencies in any part of the state for early response. It will be recalled that the Zamfara state government has stationed 80 combined police mobile soldiers and civil defense like many vulnerable areas in the state to counter threat posed by recalcitrant bandits. Currently, the police search and rescue team in collaboration with the military are in nearby forests of the surrounding area to rescue the district head and the 4 other kidnapped victims along with him. It is on this premise that the command is calling on the good people of the state to report any threat of any kind to the security agencies in any part of the state for early response to any attack by this recalcitrant bandit. The Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ Zamfara State Chapter, has pledged its support for Hajia Aisha Ibrahim as the national president of the association. Members of the association made a pledge during a meeting of the association at the Nigerian Union of Journalists Press Center, Gusau. Also speaking at the meeting, Hajia Aisha Ibrahim pledged to support the state chapter of the association financially and in the training of its members.
We know that we need as many female journalists as we need female gynecologists because of our peculiarities, especially female journalists to report on health issues, maternal health issues, even personal health issues. You know, we in the North, by the time our husbands realize that we have a problem, it has become cancer, like cancer of the cervix, cancer of the breast. These are very serious issues that are killing our young men with young women on daily basis. So we need female journalists to report these issues.
Hajia Aisha Ibrahim promised to carry every member along when voted into the national leadership of the association. 38 armed bandits were successfully killed by troops of Operation Sahel Sanity during heavy contact in various raids in Katsina, Sokoto, and Zamfara State in continued fight against banditry, cattle rustling, and kidnappings which bedeviled the Northwest Zone. This was disclosed by the Acting Director, Defense Media Operations Brigadier General Bernard Oyoko in a press conference at the Special Super Camp 4 Faskari, saying troops under Sahel Sanity were also able to rescue 109 kidnapped victims after destroying several bandit camps. For more on the story, over now to Samira Ibrahim.
According to General Onyeko, the intensified operations by the troops has led to the degradation of bandits and their activities to the barest minimum as indicated by the successes recorded. These gains are gradually bringing stability and normalcy back to the zone as evidenced by the massive resumption of farming and socio-economic activities. He further informed that operations conducted between 4th September and 25th October 2020, 38 armed bandits were neutralized, while 93 suspected bandits, logistics suppliers, and collaborators were arrested. Relatedly, 30 den guns, 941 rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition, and 5 live cartridges were captured during various encounters with troops. Also, a total of 131 cows, 154 sheep and rams, and 1 camel were recovered. Other than that, all the search and rescue operations carried out, 108 kidnapped victims were rescued, 90 bandit informants and collaborators, 3 rustle cattle marketers, and 12 bandit logistics suppliers were arrested. Also, a total of 10 bandit camps and their logistics bases were destroyed by troops of Operation Sahel Sanity, while 47 bandit coordinated attacks on number of innocent communities and 31 kidnapped incidents were foiled by the troops on incessant patrols and timely response to distress calls. Samira Ibrahim, reporting for SVTV News.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, on Monday met with principal staff officers, general officers commanding and field commanders. The meeting resolved to ensure that subversive elements do not succeed in their plan to destabilize Nigeria. The meeting deplored the determination of some unscrupulous individuals and groups to destabilize Nigeria by all means. For more on the story, Hawa Muhammad report.
General Buratai drew the attention of all the participants at the meeting to the fact that the events of the past few days in the country have shown the determination of some unscrupulous individuals and groups to destabilize Nigeria by all means. These individuals, groups, and other undesirable elements have hijacked the peaceful End SARS protest marches, resulting to widespread violence, acts of wanton destruction, and looting of public and private property in many parts of the country. This act led to the imposition of curfew in several states of the Federation. General Buratai affirmed that the army will not allow any force, element, or destabilizing agent in or outside the country to set the country on fire. He said the army remained resolute in doing everything possible to ensure that subversive elements, detractors, and other enemies of this great nation do not achieve their aims and objective of destabilization. Hawa Muhammad, reporting for SVTV News.
An Army Colonel S.B. Onifade, who was abducted along the dreaded Abuja-Kaduna Expressway, has been reportedly killed by his abductors despite payment of 10 million naira ransom. Colonel Onifade, a consultant gynecologist, was abducted near Olam Farm area while traveling at night on September 27. It was gathered that the Nigerian Army had launched strenuous rescue operation for the officer while negotiation for the ransom was ongoing, Shehu Magaji reports.
Credible sources said that Mr. Onifade was killed on Saturday despite payment of the 10 million ransom by the family and the friends. The Abuja-Kaduna Expressway is notorious for kidnapping activities despite security patrol around the hotspots. In April 2019, Inspector General of Police Muhammad Adamu launched Operation Fab-Ada to tackle banditry and the kidnapping activities in Kogi, Katsina, Niger, and Zamfara states. As part of the operation, police personnel were also massively deployed to secure the Abuja-Kaduna highway. That has been the report. I am Shehu Magaji reporting for Standard Voice Television, Gusau.
The Senate President Ahmed Lawan has assured youth in the country that the National Assembly will collaborate with the executive to ensure justice for victims of misconduct and right abuses by personnel of the disbanded Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigerian Police. In the same vein, to discourage impunity, they will insist that the perpetrators of the alleged abuses be prosecuted and sanctioned as appropriate. The Senate President said they will also work with the executive to ensure that the 5-point demands of the NSAS protesters, which the government has committed itself to, are fully implemented. For more on the story, over now to our correspondent Sumaya Ibrahim.
In spite of the unfortunate hijack of the protest against police brutality by hoodlums to unleash horrifying violence, arson, looting and wanton destruction of public and private property on the country, they will ensure the government fulfills the commitment it has made to the well-meaning agitators for police reform and good governance. The National Assembly is fully committed to putting the necessary legislation in place for comprehensive reform of the police to enhance their institutional integrity and efficiency. He expressed his condolences to the families of security and law enforcement agents who have made the supreme sacrifice in the cause of their service to their fatherland. He called for a thorough investigation of every criminal act that the country had witnessed in the past few weeks, with a view to bringing to justice all those elements who have so callously destroyed public and private property. Now that the mindless carnage has distorted the purpose of the protest, he urged the youth to join hands with the authorities in bringing an urgent cessation to the violence. Sumaya Dosa reporting for SVTV News.
The National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, has fined 3 Nigerian television stations 3 million naira each for their involvement in broadcasting the NSAS protests and the violence that followed in various parts of the country. The NBC Acting Director General Professor Armstrong Idachaba at a press conference in Abuja on Monday named the stations as Channels Television, Africa Independent Television (AIT), and Arise News. The NBC had last week warned all television and radio stations against reporting the NSAS protest in a manner that could embarrass the government or private individuals. The NBC Director General noted that the broadcast stations were fined over their unprofessional coverage of the NSAS protest and violating the broadcasting code. He added that the stations were guilty of airing unverified images of the Lekki shooting. The National Economic Council (NEC) has urged the leadership of the coalition against COVID-19 to come out with an independent statement on the status of the distribution of palliatives donated to state. The call was part of the communique issued after an emergency virtual NEC meeting presided over by Vice President Yemi Osibanjo on Monday. NEC said that COVID should clearly explain the circumstances behind the delay in the distribution of food items domiciled in warehouses across the country. For more on the story, over now to Fauzia Ibrahim.
The council expressed sincere condolence to all those who have been injured, suffered the death of loved ones, or lost property since the hijacking of the NSAS demonstration by criminals and hoodlums across the country. NEC observed the low morals of security operatives during the period, and members resolved to commend the Nigerian police force and all the security agencies for their handling of what is clearly an unprecedented problem. NEC also supported President Muhammadu Buhari's commitment to a complete overhaul of the country's security service by improving the capacity of security officers across the rank and file, while providing them with the necessary equipment to carry out their jobs effectively. National Economic Council enjoined the COVID leadership to come out with an independent statement on the status of the distribution of palliatives donated to states, which should clearly explain the circumstances behind the delay in the distribution of food items domiciled in warehouses across the country. Fawzia Ibrahim, SVT.
Karaye Emirate Council has announced the kidnapping of the wife of village head of Sara in Rogo local government area in Kano State, Aishatu Aliu, by unknown gunmen. Reporters said that information made available to the Emir of Karaye, Alhaji Ibrahim Abubakar II, by district head of Rogo, Wambai Karaye, Alhaji Muhammadu Maharaz, said unknown persons in a large number entered the house of the village head of Sara, Aliu Muhammad, at 1 a.m. on Friday morning and took away his wife Aishatu Aliu. This was contained in a statement issued by Karaye Emirate Council Information Officer Haruna Gunduwawa on Tuesday. It said the abductors shot severally into the air before taking away their victims, that led to many of the residents passing the night in the bush for safety. The district head notified the emir in a report that people in Rogo district are presently living in fear as kidnapping cases is on the rise, explaining that within 2 months, 4 cases were recorded. The Emir of Karaye, Alhaji Ibrahim Abubakar II, renewed his plea to the security operatives to improve measures put in place to end the menace, and also enjoined people to devote more time to prayer. The National Economic Council (NEC) yesterday set up a committee to engage youth, representatives of civil society organizations, religious and traditional leaders on employment and social safety net programs. Members of the committee, to be chaired by Vice President Yemi Osibanjo, are Governors Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto State, Professor Babagana Zulum of Borno State, Mr. Mohammed Bello of Niger State, Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State, Chief David Umahi of Ebonyi State, and Senator Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State. The meeting mandated the committee to focus on employment, social safety net programs, national unity, and other critical national issues. For more on the story, over now to Beauty Abdulmalik.
NEC also expressed condolences to those who had lost their loved ones, sustained injuries, or lost valuables to the violence that trailed the NSAS protest. The meeting also expressed support for the steps so far taken by President Muhammadu Buhari in tackling the protest and commended the security agencies for their management of the crisis. Members at the meeting commiserated and expressed sincere condolences to all those who have been injured, suffered the death of a loved one, or lost properties since the hijacking of the NSAS demonstration by criminals and hoodlums across the country. The council observed the low morale of security operatives during the period, and members resolved to commend the Nigerian police and other security agencies for their handling of what is clearly an unprecedented problem. Council affirmed an unequivocal belief and assurance that most members of the nation's security personnel are law-abiding and are capable of restoring law and order in the country. Beauty Abdulmalik reporting for SVT.
Still to come your way is the business and the international news, but before that, a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Let me quickly take you to our business desk for the business update.
Welcome to Standard Voice Business Update. I am Samira Ibrahim. It is once again Nigeria's day in the sun and on the global stage as former finance minister and former foreign managing director of the World Bank, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has emerged the first female director general of the World Trade Organization. Dr. Okonjo-Iweala emerged as the first African and the first female to attain the position of DG of WTO by defeating South Korea's current trade minister, Yoon Myung-hee, in a fierce battle for the coveted job on Monday night. News reports said the WTO's Ambassador Workers-led General Council would officially announce the choice of Nigeria's former finance minister, Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, later on Tuesday. Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, 66, served as Nigeria's first female finance and later foreign minister and has a 25-year career behind her as a development economics and international finance expert at the World Bank, eventually becoming its number 2. She is also on Twitter's board of directors and is a special envoy for the World Health Organization's COVID-19 fight. And that's all on the business update. I'm Samira Ibrahim. Back to the newsroom.
And on the international scene, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has dismissed calls on the international community to impose a travel ban on top military officers over alleged violation of human rights of some Nigerians under the NSAS protest. General Buratai made this known on Monday in Abuja during a meeting with the general officers commanding of the divisions and operation commanders of the Nigerian Army over the NSAS protest. He said criminal elements are threatening the military officers with travel ban, but they are not worried because they must remain in this country to make it better. General Buratai said the first time he traveled outside of this country, he was already 50 years and a general, so he wouldn't mind if he lives the rest of his life in Nigeria. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. People of Zamfara State cried out over neglect from President Muhammadu Buhari. Chief of Army Staff meets general officers, commanders, and field commanders, vows to deal with subversive elements. National Economic Council urges Kakari to explain statutes of donation to state. On business, Okonjo-Iweala emerges first female Director General of World Trade Organization. And on the international scene, Chief of Army Staff has dismissed calls on the international communities to impose travel ban on top military officers. That's the news on behalf of the production crew and head of News and Current Affairs Department, Lahaji Ibrahim Garoba. I still remain Musa Joy Onyoda. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.